I don't know why I feel like I have to just say that in such a sing-songy way. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. And if you happen to catch this live stream later in the day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. In fact, let me know where you are tuning in from when you tune in. I have to admit, you guys, I'm really enjoying this series. I'm really enjoying this book review series of going through this book, A Yearn to Discern. I feel like it's really enriching my life, and my prayer is that it is also enriching your life, right? So, what are you getting from this series? Are you following the series? Are you catching just one-off videos here or there? Or are you actually staying connected to the entire series? Let me know. And we are going to get started today with chapter 3, the meaning of discernment. Okay? The meaning of discernment. And y'all, I have to say again, I love the way R.L. Maco structured this book. I love it. I love how she took us from the root, like the root word, right? Of discernment, right? And then now she's given us the actual meaning of discernment. I think it's genius. And I think that it really builds a strong foundation of what discernment is. So, as you are coming in, please like and share the video, and we will get started in just about 30. Good morning. Good morning. And if you are catching this stream later on, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever the case may be. Somebody told me one time that they listen to me while they're going to sleep because my voice is like soothing to them. I thought that was so sweet. However, okay, I do want you to actually be taking in this information. I know that it gets into your subconscious and it does its thing, but I also want you to be conscious as we are talking about discernment. This is a very, very important topic. Very important topic. And the fact of the matter is that we live in a world where deception is at an all-time high and discernment is at an all-time low. And if we could just switch those things around, okay? If we could just switch the levels of deception that we have in this world with the level of discernment that we all should have, just think about how much better our world would be. Can y'all hear me okay? Let me make sure y'all can hear me okay, because for some reason my little avatar thing is not moving. Let me see. Okay, I'm hearing okay. I don't know why my little avatar person isn't moving. Okay, like that's weird. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. This is actually, from what I saw, and you guys know I've read this book before, as you can see, because I still have my highlights in it. This is the shortest chapter. Okay, so we're actually going to get through with this chapter today, but this is the shortest chapter in the book, and it covers the actual meaning of discernment. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this chapter today. So it reads like this. Let's be clear. Okay, discernment is about enlightenment. Okay. She starts right out the gate. Okay. It's about enlightenment. Okay. Discernment is also about making informed judgments and hard decisions. Discernment is all about making informed judgments and hard decisions. Discernment is about being perceptive, rational, objective, logical, and forward thinking, to name a few. Okay, let me read that again. Discernment is about being perceptive, rational, objective, logical, and forward thinking, to name a few. Okay? You know what? Let's do something here. Let's do something. Okay? Let's do something. Let's look up the definition of these words, okay? Let's look up the definition of these words. Perceptive. Okay? Let's go ahead and look that up. Perceptive is an adjective. Having or showing sensitive insight. Having or showing sensitive insight. Wow. Okay? Now that's perceptive. Rational. Let's look at the definition of rational. Based on or in accordance with reason or logic. Based on or in accordance with reason or logic. Okay, number 2, it says of a person, or of a rational person, it's being able to think clearly, sensibly, and logically. The third definition here says endowed with the capacity to reason. Okay? Now, this is all giving you the meaning of discernment. Okay? Objective of a person or their judgment. If your judgment is objective, or if you are an objective person, it's a person or a judgment that is not influenced by personal feelings or opinions in considering and representing facts. Okay? Being objective means that you are not influenced by personal feelings or opinions when you are considering or representing facts. Okay? Let's go to logical. Logical. Of or according to the rules of logic or formal argument. Number 2, characterized by or capable of clear, sound reasoning. Okay? Characterized by or capable of clear, sound reasoning. And number 3, the definition here is if it's a logical action, development, or decision, etc., that means it is natural or sensible given the circumstances. Natural or sensible given the circumstances. Okay? Let's go into forward thinking. And I wonder if it's going to give us, if it'll give us this definition, even though it's a hyphenated word. It is. Okay. Forward thinking. Favoring innovation and development. It's progressive. Okay? Favoring innovation and development. Progressive. Now think about that in terms of discernment. Discernment is favoring innovation and development. Discernment is progressive. Okay? Now, I'm hoping that that gives you all even more of an understanding of the meaning of discernment. Okay. Discernment is about being perceptive, rational, objective, logical, and forward thinking, to name a few. And yes, discernment requires you to discriminate, oftentimes within seconds, depending upon the situation you are faced with. Okay, let me read that again, right? Because we have been taught that discrimination is wrong. It has a negative connotation. And let's go ahead and just look up that word real quick. Okay? Discriminate. To recognize a distinction, differentiate. Okay? The second definition here is to perceive or constitute the difference in or between. Okay? Number 3 here. Make an unjust or prejudicial distinction in the treatment of different categories of people. Now, don't let this third definition here deter you from discriminating, okay? Because even though it says here that it's unjust and it's prejudicial, sometimes when we are discerning, we have to make a decision that requires us to discriminate. The difference is your intent, okay? Oftentimes, yeah, and yes, this discernment requires you to discriminate, oftentimes within seconds, depending upon the situation you are faced with, right? So, discrimination doesn't need to be your posture, it doesn't need to be your character, it doesn't need to be who you are. But if you are a discerning individual, then you know that there are times that will require you to discriminate depending upon the situation. Okay. But the ultimate goal of discernment is to protect you from the pitfalls prevalent in life to which you may succumb when you are confronted by certain situations. And let me just go ahead and say this right now, because where this really comes into play is when we talk about this whole discrimination piece. I mean, let's just say I'm a woman walking by myself down the street and I see a group of men, right? Looking a certain way, looking a certain way, behaving a certain way. And my discernment tells me, go ahead and cross the street. Walk on the other side, walk the other way. Now, yes, someone may perceive that as discrimination. If someone may even perceive that to be prejudice. Someone may even perceive that to be unjust, judgmental. But there are certain situations in life, right, where you have to use your discernment, right, to protect you, to protect you. Let's keep going. If your ability to discern is not properly developed, or if it is not used at all when this happens, you may be headed for trouble, sometimes in more ways than one. Hmm. Sit with that for a minute. Because we were told that discrimination is wrong. We were told that a lot of these, you know how we got into these definitions, right? Discrimination, judgment. It may seem that is unjust to the person, but your discernment is telling you that you need to change course. Your discernment is telling you, don't go that way. Don't interact with that group. Don't stop at that store. And we all know that there are certain stores in certain neighborhoods that we will not stop at. Does that mean that you are discriminating? Does that mean that you are judging? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes, I am. But my discernment, my judgment, my discrimination in that situation, right, is to protect myself. And it simply does not make sense to say to yourself, well, I don't want to judge. I don't want to discriminate, right? You're basically saying, I will not use my discernment in this situation, even though the information is there for me to know that this is not a safe space. This is not a safe group. This is not a safe neighborhood. This is not safe for me. But how many times do we do it? How many times? You may be headed for trouble, sometimes in more ways than one. It is totally okay for you to judge, meaning that no, you are not the ultimate judge. You don't judge where someone goes in the afterlife. But in this life, you need to make judgments for your safety, for your best interest, for the best interest of those around you, for the safety of those around you. And you don't need to feel bad about it. Okay, let's keep going. Discernment is also about guidance, fulfillment, purpose, and direction. When you learn how to discern, you set the stage to make sound judgments in the face of constant adversity and potential threats in life. The fact of the matter is that there is constant adversity in this world we live in. There are potential threats in this life. And if we get caught up in trying not to judge, right? And trying not to discriminate in the face of discernment, then we have made a mistake. Oftentimes, that has really grave consequences. Discernment seeks to move you forward in life productively with the steadfast purpose of improving your life and ultimately improving the world around you. Because when you are making a discerning decision, you're really not hurting anyone. Think about that. Think about that for a minute in the scenario that I just gave you, where I am a woman that is by myself. I'm walking down the street. I see a group of guys, and something is telling me, you need to cross the street. Now I could say to myself, well, I don't want to judge, you know, I don't want anybody's feelings to get hurt. But really think about it. Think about it. Would anyone that did not have an intention to hurt you be hurt by you protecting yourself, by you using your discernment to make better decisions for yourself? Think about that. Think about how many times you make a decision about something and people come against you when it really does not impact them in a negative way at all. Think about it. We have heard a lot of things in these last few years. Let's say, for instance, even decentering males, giving males no access to you. Ask yourself why. Why does that cause some men, males, to lash out at you verbally, physically, sexually? Why? When you are acting in your best interest, you are using your judgment, right? Your discernment to make a decision that is safe for you. But you have people who are violently coming against you for that. That lets you know that your discernment is on point. Now, these words provide the basis for a definition of discernment that is a more functional and practical definition, taking into account the roots of discernment. This definition helps us understand better why discernment is so important and what purpose it truly serves in life. Okay, let me read that again. This definition helps us understand better why discernment is so important and what purpose it truly serves in life. And what did she say the purpose was? To guide you, to provide fulfillment, purpose, and direction, safety, understanding. Let's keep going. So here is our new definition of discernment. And I like how she took us to the definition that is in like the secular arena of discernment. And then she took us to the spiritual definition of discernment and let us know how important it is that we keep the perspective where it needs to be about discernment, right? That it is spiritual because we are all spiritual beings and we need not. In fact, we be doing ourselves a disservice and we would be doing discernment in and of itself a disservice, right? By not fully understanding and grasping the fact that discernment comes from God. Okay? Discernment, having the ability to sift through different types of information, constant adversity, and potential threats in life while consistently making appropriate choices, rational judgments, and proper decisions that will propel you forward with steadfast purpose of improving one's life and ultimately improving the world around you. I'm going to read it again. Let's read that. Let's read that again, okay? Let's read that again. Discernment, having the ability to sift through different types of information, constant adversity, and potential threats in life. Let's stop there. Okay? Having the ability to sift through different types of information. How much misinformation is out there? Think about think about you guys when Donald Trump came out and he was like fake news, fake You remember when he kept saying fake news? He was like he made that whole little phrase popular, fake news. Think about how much fake news is out there. Discernment is having the ability to sift through fake news, right? It's having the ability to sift through all of the abundance of information that is out there to determine what information is needed for you to make the decision that is best for your life. It's the ability to sift through constant adversity. Think about how much adversity, okay, that we are faced with today. Adversity, the definition is difficulties and misfortune. Constant difficulties, constant misfortune. It's the ability to sift through all of that. The why. Why are you having constant difficulties? Why are you having constant misfortune? Okay. And potential threats in life while consistently making appropriate choices, rational judgments. There's that word again, judgments, because everybody keeps saying, right? And I say everybody, but I mean, people keep saying, well, you're not supposed to judge. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are supposed to make rational judgments about people, places, and things. And no, that does not mean that you are judging a person, but you are judging what's right for you. If you are not making rational judgments, then you'll accept anything, anybody, any relationship, any boyfriend, any girlfriend, right? Because you're not making rational judgments about the type of treatment that you are getting, the type of relationship you want. Does that make sense? You are to make rational judgments about people, places, and things. Let's keep going. And proper decisions that will propel you forward with the steadfast purpose of improving one's life and ultimately improving the world around you, because what you know is that when you are making a discerning decision, you are not hurting the world around you. You are not hurting the people that are connected to you, the people that you encounter. Remember, yesterday we just went over the golden rule, which is the foundation of discernment, that you are going to treat everyone with dignity and respect. So ultimately, when you are making a discerning decision, you are treating everyone with dignity and respect. That is improving the world around you. I'm continue reading here. The true intent of discernment is to keep you and your actions in line with your ultimate path in life. The true intent of discernment is to keep you and your actions in line with your ultimate path in life. Discernment is a navigation system that is superior to any other navigation system you will encounter. Okay, this is the ultimate GPS. Okay, the ultimate GPS. Not even your mother's wisdom can compete with discernment. Okay, listen, listen. How many of us are going to try to come up against this statement right here? This is a whole sermon right here. Not even your mother's wisdom can compete with discernment. Do you know why? Do you know why? Discernment is about navigating your way in the midst of dealing with the daily chaos of life. While your mom can see the pitfalls of certain places you are venturing into based upon her experiences, going down certain roads before you, your mother cannot know completely your path in life, because her perspective, just like anyone else's perspective, is colored by her own experiences and perceptions of life and existence. Not even, not even your own mother's wisdom, your mother's wisdom can compete with discernment. I've heard a lot of people say before, they wish they had had a father in their life or a mother in their life that would tell them certain things about certain situations. And I get it, I get how we feel like a lot of times we should have known certain things, and maybe we would have known certain things had this person been in our life that should have taught us these things. But the good news is that even in the absence of that wisdom or advice that may have come from the person who you missed in your life, you have discernment now. You have your God given discernment. And even though you may have missed, you know, getting your mom's advice about certain pitfalls, about certain places that you are venturing into based upon her experiences, or going down certain roads before you, it's okay. It's okay because you have discernment. And although, here we are here, I think. And although your mother may be right 99.9% of the time, and she may know you better than anyone else, ultimately, she doesn't know what your true path is in life. Or excuse me, your true path in life is, and cannot dictate your path in life unless you give her the power to do so. And she says, "Sorry, mom, love you, but it's true." And she said, "This is why. This is why self reflection becomes an integral part in how well you will develop your ability to discern. And if you put aside your ability to discern only to go about your daily life, allowing loved ones or anyone else for that matter to tell you what you are good at, what you should do, what job you should take, etc., you will never get to the point where you clearly understand what your true purpose in life is meant to be. And while all of these people, right, may be able to give you good advice, they are only a component of your discernment process, meaning that you can seek advice from loved ones, seek advice from trusted advisors or mentors, right? But they shouldn't be the ones telling you what to do. Ultimately, you have to make that decision based on what your purpose is in life. And let's say you don't know right now, right? Let's say you don't know what your true purpose is in life. Then you, being a discerning person, understands that it is a journey that you must take, and really alone. It's a journey that you walk alone. You have people around you, right? That may be support, that may be advisors, may be mentors, may be loved ones to cheer you and vouch for you and encourage you along the way. But it is a journey that you must walk yourself. Okay? Remember, each one of us is different. Each of our lives marches to a different chaotic and symphonic rhythm, if you will. Okay? So we all are pretty much marching to the beat of our own drums. We all have our own walk in life. This is true whether we're talking about the chaos we're born into or the chaos we've created for ourselves. Therefore, if we all took time out periodically to understand ourselves, our past, our present, and our future, we would be in the driver's seat of the path we are destined to blaze. And I know I'm going to say something that probably you may push back on. But I've heard this like my entire life, right? But I've never believed it. Never believed it because God told me something different. My discernment was telling me something different. People would say in church and stuff like that, right? All growing up. You guys know I grew up in the church. My father and my mother were both pastors. I would hear people say, well, God is in the driver's seat. Well, I never believed that. I never believed that God is in the driver's seat of our lives. I think that that's why God gave us each of us our own life because we're supposed to drive ourselves. And I think when people say that they are not in the driver's seat of their life but yet in the passenger seat and some people are in the back seat in the trunk, okay? Hanging out the hanging out the sunroof. Okay, hanging out the window of their own life. That is a cop out, in my opinion. It's a cop out. To me, God rides with me. God is my navigation system, meaning that discernment, right? And we'll get into how deep discernment goes, but it's even understanding God's will for our lives. So, and then you heard her say, where was that? Where was that? Where she talked about discernment, right? Right here. Discernment is a navigation system that is superior to any other navigation system you will encounter. I don't believe that God wants to drive all of our lives. I don't think that God wants to be in the driver's seat of every single one of our lives. It just doesn't even like really to me, it doesn't even pass the logic test. Like God is driving everybody's life. I mean, you see how many people there are in this world? So God is just driving everybody? No. You're driving your own life. This is a path that you must take, and you use the guidance and the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding that God has given you to drive your own life. I understand that that's probably an unpopular opinion because I'm telling you, my entire life, I have heard people say, well, God is the pilot and I'm the co pilot, and God is in the driver's seat and I'm in but no, I don't believe that. I just simply do not believe that because God has given us way too many tools and has given us power and all of these things for what? For us to sit back, for us to get in the back seat and take a nap while he's driving our lives? I mean, because what do you do when you in the passenger seat of somebody's car? I'm taking a nap. Okay. Like I'm telling you now. I'm taking a nap. I'm playing on my phone. I might be playing with the radio. I might have my tablet with me. So I might be on my tablet. I might be reading. I might be, like I said, hanging out the window, got my hands all out the sunroof because I don't have any responsibility, right? I'm not in the driver's seat. So if you take that approach in your life and even on in a spiritual context, if you take that approach that there is some other entity, there is some other person, there is something else that is driving your life, you have copped out. I mean, let's just really be clear. You have decided to give over control that you were meant to have. of your life. Your life. You're driving your own path. Does that make sense? So it just never sat well with me how people were just well, I'm in the passenger seat. I'm the co-pilot. No, you're not. No, you're not. You get behind the wheel and drive. This is your life. And as soon as something comes up, then who's to blame? What, God's to blame? Huh? The devil's to blame? What, the devil was driving that time? God wasn't driving, the devil was driving that time. Who was driving? You better get your butt behind the wheel of your own life because you have all the tools. You have all the tools to know the direction that you need to go. And if you don't know what your true purpose in life is meant to be, you are supposed to still keep going. Keep going. Okay? Now let's keep reading. No one else should be the author of that story except you and God. Now, I know there are times where I say, Jesus, take the wheel. God, take the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Like, just take the wheel. But that is not my posture. That is not how I am all the time. Yeah, we get tired, right? And sometimes we need to get in the passenger seat and just take a little nap. But we are meant to drive. We are meant to be in control of our own lives, of our own emotions, moving steadily and consistently toward our ultimate purpose. And here it reads, so that you can appreciate, so that you can appreciate the value of discernment and place it into perspective. Let me first inform you of two opposite ends of the discernment spectrum. By doing so, we can bring its relevance into sharp focus. Okay? Number 1, at a minimum, understanding and learning how to discern will allow one to take full advantage of prime opportunities that will present themselves, opportunities that will impact one's life for the better. Let me make it personal for you. At a minimum, understanding and learning how to discern will allow you to take full advantage of prime opportunities that will present themselves, opportunities that will impact your life for the better. Okay? Number 2, at a maximum, understanding and learning how to discern can make the difference between one's life or one's death. Let me make it personal. At a maximum, understanding and learning how to discern can make the difference between your life and your death. Sit with that for a moment. Sit with it. Because listen, at a minimum, that means look, y'all, that means you can't lose. You can't lose when discernment is your guiding principle. You cannot lose at the very least. This is what she's saying, okay? I'm putting my own words, okay? At the very least, okay? Understanding and learning how to discern will allow you to take full advantage of prime opportunities. How do you put minimum and full in the same sentence? Huh? How do you put minimum and full in the same sentence? Right? And then she put at full advantage, prime, prime. Let's look it up. Prime, of first importance, main, from which another thing may derive or proceed, of the best possible quality, excellence. Right? Y'all see that? Prime, you take full advantage. That's at a minimum. Let's look up minimum. The least or smallest amount or quantity possible, attainable, or required. Number two, the lowest or smallest amount of a varying quantity at a minimum. At the smallest amount of what you will gain, you will still be full, right? Containing or holding as much or as many as possible, having no empty space. Number two, having eaten or drunk to one's limits or satisfaction. Number three, containing or holding much or many, having a large number of. Think about that. Like, sit with that for a moment. Having, understanding, and learning how to discern will allow you to take full advantage of prime opportunities that will present themselves, opportunities that will impact your life for the better. And then at the maximum, understanding and learning how to discern can make the difference between life and death. Your life or your death. That's a sermon, y'all. Like, the church needs to say amen right about now. Like, y'all need to put amen in the chat when you catch it, you know? When you catch it, put a good old amen in the chat. Now, here is a discernment spectrum. And you see how she said at a minimum, right? You have the opportunities category there, right? That's at a minimum. And then as you move closer to, right? You got purpose, you have enlightenment right there in the middle. And then at the maximum, you have life. But on the contrast end, you could have death. And yes, it is that serious. Discernment is not only a life skill, it is a life-saving skill. And all in there, peace of mind, fulfillment, happiness, success, confidence, direction. You can't lose. You cannot lose when discernment is at the forefront. Then she says, now, I know these are two stark contrasts at each end of the spectrum, but knowing both ends of the discernment spectrum leaves little room for misunderstanding. What you'll find in between these two ends of the spectrum is peace of mind, confidence, enlightenment, truth, happiness, and purpose. The bottom line is, no matter what end of the discernment spectrum you may find yourself at any point in life, no matter what end, using your ability to discern always creates a win-win scenario. Ooh, look at God. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? You cannot lose. Okay? You cannot lose when you use discernment. Okay? You cannot lose when you use discernment. Okay? Once you realize and comprehend that the value and use of the ability to discern results in a win win scenario, you're on your way to true enlightenment. You're on your way. You are on your way to true enlightenment because you understand that you cannot lose. Acquiring this knowledge is the aha. Aha. I got it now. It's the aha moment. And the well kept secret of discernment, which makes its relevance unmatched. Unmatched. There is nothing that can match discernment. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. I mean, you tell me what can. As much as you've heard so far about discernment, tell me what can match it. What can match it? It is unmatched. No matter how you slice it, okay? No matter how you slice it. There is no competing with discernment if you fully understand its unique qualities and the value of its power. There's just no competing with it. None. And once you truly understand how powerful discernment is in your life, child, listen. Once you do, you will apply it to every aspect of your life. Okay. You be like, okay, discernment, discernment. Okay. Discernment. You be calling it like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, come to me. Okay. Holy Spirit, activate. Discernment, activate. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. And finally see the positive results you've been expecting in life, but haven't been able to achieve. You haven't been able to achieve it until now. Until now. Because now you know what discernment is. Now you know how powerful it is. Now you know that there is nothing more powerful in your life than your ability to discern. So remember to always keep the meaning of discernment at the front of your mind so that it may soothe you immediately when scenarios start to boil over and require you to think sharp. There's gonna be instances where you feel uncomfortable. Like, did I just judge that person? Yeah. Yes, you did. That was your discernment. And you can have comfort in knowing that you ultimately made the right decision because you made a discerning decision. And that will always give you comfort. Even when someone says, well, you judged me. Well, you discriminated against me. Well, you crossed the street when you saw that group of guys. So does that make you, I don't know, racist, sexist, ageist, whatever the case may be? But you knew your discernment was telling you. All right, because this is something that we should be using in our everyday life. You knew that you shouldn't stop at that particular gas station. You knew that you shouldn't go in that particular neighborhood. And does that mean that you have judged and discriminated and did all of these so-called words that have negative connotations to them? No, because it was all part of your discernment process. So you can sleep well at night knowing that The decision you made was a discerning decision. And sometimes we never really know the depth of of the impact, right? The negative impact something could have had if we didn't listen to our discernment. And sometimes that'll get us, right? Because you don't know how bad it could have been because you use discernment. And so you think, okay, well, did I judge wrong or did I discern wrong, Because you don't know how bad it could have been. You don't know how that situation could have led to certain things. And it may have been just a situation of you avoiding an accident, of you avoiding an encounter, something that may not have had anything to do with you. But sometimes you never really know just how harmful a situation or a person was because you use discernment. But don't let that deter you from using discernment. Don't ever question whether your discernment was wrong. As long as you are using discernment in your decision making process, it's a win-win situation. And then the last paragraph here says, remember, or the last couple sentences, remember, your actions and your future depend on it. It depends on it. Depends on you making better decisions. It depends on you using your discernment. To sum it up, discernment is your ticket to upward mobility. Don't leave home without practicing it. Wow. This was actually the shortest chapter in this book. And I'm telling you, this was a very powerful chapter. Powerful chapter. Y'all really need to get this book, right? Get this book. Go through and highlight the sections that, mean something to you that you need to go back to and read it again. Make some notes. Like I told y'all, if you get the book on Kindle, which this is my Kindle version of it, but I also have a hard copy of the book. Because I mean, it's just that serious to me and it's just that good, right? So I wanted to be able to read the book and read multiple books, so I put it on my Kindle as well. But this book was so good, I had to have a hard copy of it. But look, you can see here. Hold on one second. Let me minimize my picture. And so you can see here on the side that sorry. You see here on the side, right above my picture is the notes section, right? And these are highlights that I've made in here. And then here you can add your notes, right? So I can add my own notes, you know, right? So you can add your own notes there. Like what stuck out to you? What's some food for thought for you or whatever. So you can add your own notes there. So, if you want to get the Kindle version, obviously that's recommended as well. And then that way you don't have to actually like carry a book around or anything like that. You can, look at it on your phone or whatever the case may be, right? But this was the shortest chapter, and this was a very powerful chapter. Very powerful chapter. Discernment is about enlightenment. Discernment is also about making informed judgments and hard decisions. Discernment is about being perceptive, rational, objective, logical, and forward thinking. And remember, when we looked up those words, and see, this is just to name a few, and yes, discernment requires you to discriminate. Okay? When we looked up those words, and we realized that those words also come with some words that have some negative connotation to them, that we've been conditioned to believe is a wrong way of dealing with people, and of making decisions. But We are discerning individuals, and we know that there are times when we have to discriminate. There are times when we have to judge, and we have to make judgments that is best for our lives. Judgments that could mean the difference between life and death. Okay? So, that is chapter 3. And of course, when we come back, we will be on chapter 4. And chapter 4 is, let's see, what is chapter 4? Let's go to it. So we can get a little sneak peek here. Okay. What discernment is not? Oh, child. When I tell you this book is on point, do you hear me? So she gives you what discernment is, and then she says this is what discernment is not. Okay? So there is no confusion. No confusion whatsoever. So this is what we're going to talk about tomorrow morning. Okay? And you see I already have some highlights in there. More than likely this is going to be 2 parts. And then listen. What else is in here? I'm sure she's going to have some reflective questions. Let's see. Oh, this is a good long story, y'all. Oh, we're going to get all into this story, y'all. Okay. Listen. Okay, look, these are discerning when presented with an emergency. And look, emergency. These are assessment questions. Okay. So we're going to get into those. Yes, honey. I am loving this series. So y'all let me know, are you getting something from this series? Is this helping you um to really understand what discernment is, to be comfortable, normalizing discernment in your life, making it something that, you will definitely incorporate, and that it will be the forefront and everything, about your decision making process. Let me know. Get on in that chat, child. Let me know. And thank you, Facebook user, for commenting. And thank you to my new subscribers. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you. And again, I just want to let you know about my ebook that's out on Amazon. It is The Religious Narcissist Decoded. It is a guidebook, step-by-step guide, you guys, step-by-step guide to discerning the impact, right? The tactics and the impact of religious narcissism. Okay? Discerning the tactics and impact of religious narcissism. So we're getting somewhere with this, right? We are getting somewhere with this discernment series, because we cannot discern harmful situations and people if we don't even know what discernment is. Okay? So it's important that we build the foundation and then we activate. Okay? All right, you guys. I love y'all. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday, depending on whenever you listen to this, whatever day it is. I hope that day is blessed and prosperous. And remember, you are important to me. I need you to survive. Bye-bye for now.